This program is produced using the resources of Public Media Network in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Learn more at publicmedianet.org.
Welcome to Connecting Communities, a show about the environment, which is everywhere that we live, work, and play. We invite guests who are doing cool things in our communities and talk about the impact that it has on environments and how you, listeners, can get involved and engage with the work that they're doing. My name is Dee Chauvin, and I am your co-host. We also have Bella Baez co-hosting today. And our guest, Jory Horner, the Director of Outdoor Programs at K College, and Hannah Wolf, Outdoor Leadership Training Center Coordinator at K College.
Yep.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So why don't you start by telling us about outdoor programs at K College? What is that?
Yeah, so outdoor programs was started in 2013, kind of sprung from our Land Sea program, which is our outdoor pre-orientation trip that's available to all incoming students at K. And that's been around since 1973. So it's like a 50-year tradition that students, when they come to K, they have the opportunity to go outside on this like 18-day trip, or now a 6-day trip, and meet a bunch of folks, and that's how they start their like college experience at K.
Okay.
And when I came on in 2011, we decided to try to do more year-round programming, not just the pre-orientation trip. So now that's kind of encompassing like break trips and weekend and evening stuff and that kind of stuff. And then the most recent thing is the Outdoor Leadership Training Center, which is more community kind of focused versus just focused on students. So.
Cool. So I was on your website and I saw about the Land Sea, but like, how does going on a 18-day backpacking trip to the Adirondack Mountains?
Yeah, Adirondack Mountains. Yeah,
Adirondack. I never know how to pronounce that.
Yeah.
Like, what does that have to do with being a freshman in college? Like, why that?
Yeah, I think like the secret hidden agenda is just to meet friends. I think, and then the outdoor environment really helps. I think for just like focusing on being where you are, and also I think there's something that's powerful about giving up some of the things that we typically carry with us every day, distractions, or even just like our routines, our daily lives. And I think the outdoors can really simplify kind of your day, your life. It's like you really are just every day, just like finding shelter, setting it up, getting food going, getting water going, and then all the other stuff that happens between that can kind of come from that. And then increasingly too, the process of just like giving up technology for folks is really helpful, because I mean we've got folks who maybe that's been part of their life the whole time. So giving up that phone, being bored and like needing to like joke around and fill the time and like get to know folks and stuff like that, I think has been is useful no matter what. And so also living together with people in a shared environment is really helps prepare for like being in a dorm with somebody and needing to share a room and like coming up with more kind of like community guidelines. It's like not just living for yourself, but my actions that impact you, and so we have to kind of figure this out, or I need to be thinking of someone other than myself. And so I think those are all really helpful things when you're starting college too.
Do you get a lot of like first-time backpackers on these trips, and if so, what is that like for them?
Yeah. Were you a first-time backpacker on the trip or no?
I wasn't.
You'd been doing stuff.
Well, I was
You weren't on the trip.
Yeah.
That's true, right?
Oh.
When you came to K, though.
I had done at my high school. We had like a mini version of Land Sea, sort of.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people who are first-time backpackers or haven't even done outdoor activities before. And this year we have a new program at Kalamazoo. Not this year, but the past 3 years we've been doing a local like Land Sea, so that gives more flexibility, so it's not as daunting if someone like hasn't done like any of these camping experiences. They have another option that's a shorter amount of time, and but you still get same benefits out of it.
Yeah, traditionally I would say I would guess that like 50% of the people have never camped outside before they come on this big trip. Certainly I would say almost no one has done anything like it before they've come on the trip. So it's not just geared towards these like hardened outdoor people who like grew up doing this their whole lives. It's definitely geared towards the idea that maybe this is the first time. This is definitely maybe something new, and that's a bit part of it too. Is like just talking about like embracing new challenges. Doing new things with the support of folks around you, and that these things can be tough, and we can have like hard days, and the weather can be scary, like today when we've got lightning coming around. And we've ridden out storms that are like this, and we're just a few people out in the woods or on the river or whatever, and just kind of like I think the process of like getting through those hard days. I also the groups will often. Their biggest memories and the thing they're proudest of is usually the hardest day. Like it's like that summit day, and people were grumpy and hungry and sweaty and wet, and that's the day that they end up talking about when the trip's finished. It seems like too. So I think there's some kind of pride.
Do you go for like distance and mileage, or are you just going to like take it easy or like not going too hard? Because I've done the Adirondacks a few times, and I know they can be pretty unforgiving, especially if you're trying to do a lot in a day.
Yeah, and they don't believe in switchbacks. It's just like straight up.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a mix. Like they can actually choose which, like how much they want to be challenged. Basically, they kind of say their strenuous level, and then we try to match them with a trip that will do that kind of mileage or that kind of elevation. Or
Okay, so you have like custom trips almost based on the needs of the people going.
a little bit, yeah, different routes and things that we can choose. Yeah.
Cool.
How big is the group usually?
In the Adirondacks now, it's about 30-ish new students. Prior to COVID, we ran a lot more people. So it was, we had a 91 student year. That was a lot of folks.
Wow.
But yeah, now we kind of just, with offering the Kalamazoo option, we've been able to kind of pare down to a more manageable level in the Adirondacks. I also think more people are actually, before it was just the Adirondacks were the only choice. So it's like, I just want to meet people. This is my only option,
right.
And then they would just go on that trip.
Yeah.
And while I think there is some power in doing something that you didn't think you could do, options are also great too. And so I think with being able to offer an outlet with Kalamazoo, we've been able to basically split it, and it's like 30 and 30-ish.
What's the other location that you do?
Right now we're at Camp Marywood, Girl Scout camp.
Okay.
North. We've also been at Pretty Lake before. But yeah, so we try to do a camp kind of near Kalamazoo.
Cool. So what are you guys doing on the river? I'm curious to know, what are your trips like for that?
Yeah, we do utilize the Kalamazoo River for some trips. We've got stand-up paddle boards as part of the program, so we'll get out with those. We got some canoes and kayaks. So we sometimes we'll teach a canoeing class, like an intro to canoeing class. So we'll just go out every week and take 8 students out or something. And that's really getting them exposed to a lot of different areas that are within like driving distance, I guess, of Kalamazoo College. So try to take them to some of the lakes in Portage, and some other, like Wolf Lake on West Main. But then a lot of what we do too is like on our bigger trips, our break trips, or our Adirondack trip, we'll go in the Racket River or St. Regis Canoe area. And then we've done paddling trips, like Hannah's done paddling trips in the for our break trips down in like the southeast. So.
Yeah, sea kayaking, Tybee Island, lots of fun, very beautiful. There's
Okefenokee.
Okefenokee.
Yeah,
It's like that
Okefenokee.
funny word. It's the fun word to say.
It's a super cool swamp in southeast or southern Georgia. That's got a ton of wildlife, and gators.
Sea gators.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So, so we've got the Land Sea program, these other paddling opportunities, your weekend trips, your break trips are like another opportunity for that. And before we get into the community stuff, I have another question about like the stuff for students. So like, I know that you're not from Michigan. So as far as Michigan goes, is this a pretty unique program to offer, like outdoor programs and that sort of thing? I mean, if you come from like the West, every school probably has like backpacking opportunities and rock climbing workshops and out wilderness first aid. But what does it say about K College's values, if anything? maybe just they like to have fun. I don't know.
It is interesting. I mean, it got started when there was a president of K College in like 1970 who just got started, and he came from Colorado. He got that was the school he was at. I think he was maybe in Denver. And he had been on the board of Outward Bound, like this big outdoor education group that had just kind of started in the United States. And so he had seen the power of folks connecting with the outdoors in groups, and saw also that it's not just about being in the outdoors, that it can be useful in your daily life and for overcoming obstacles and, and building connections and all that. So the idea of an outdoor orientation trip, which is now a very kind of almost standard thing at a lot of colleges, was kind of just getting started around that late 60s, early 70s. And they started to pop up at a lot of different schools. And so this president, George Rainsford, he basically said, I'd like to start something here. And we're probably I think we're in one of the first 10 outdoor orientation trips in the country to get started. I think we might be the 10th. It's right in there. But yeah, he ended up pursuing a grant to fund it, and then they actually brought Outward Bound in to run it the first year. And then after that, they got more grant money and started training their own leaders. And then ever since then, it's been off and running. They are, now there's outdoor orientation programs at about 200 different schools throughout the country. So it's when you think about it's however 1,000 some schools in the country, it's okay, it's a smaller amount, but there's maybe more surprisingly more out there than you'd think. Mm-hmm. And then there's probably, I don't know, there's hundreds of outdoor programs that's not just outdoor orientation to college. So it's kind of fun. I mean, it's a pretty close-knit network. I feel like in the outdoor field, you often are running into the very similar people. But yeah, I think for K, it kind of fit the focus on experiential education, doing things that get students out doing stuff and then bringing it back to campus, and that kind of theory and praxis kind of connection. And I think it kind of fit along with that, just like we've been a study abroad school for a really long time, really focused on study abroad. So a large percent of our students will go.
Cool.
Study abroad every year.
I'm kind of curious about, just for both of you, what brought you here to this role that you're in right now? Because I know for me, I did not really have any experience in the outdoors at all until college, and it really changed my life. So I'm just curious what it was like for you guys.
You got it.
Great. Yeah, I feel like throughout my childhood, I went to summer camp, and I always loved outdoors and doing things and in the outdoors and traveling with my family. But I never realized it could be a career until college. Mostly, actually, probably my senior year of college. And so, yeah, I pursued outdoor education focused jobs. I moved out west for a little bit and pursued rock climbing, guiding, and then I came back because the Outdoor Leadership Training Center was a thought, and now it's a thing. So it's cool to be able to come back to where I started and bring the outdoor education here to the community. So yeah.
But also was fired up on it right away. I think as soon as you got to campus, it was Hannah was was a dual athlete and was studying, just super busy, but was still I want to do this stuff. How do I do this stuff? So it was pretty much doing everything she could have while she was at K to kind of stay in the outdoor ed world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, you're you can do this for real. I'm wow, that's a game changer. Yeah.
And for me, I feel I was I kind of think of the accidental outdoor educator. I always thought I would have to jump to something more stable. Mm-hmm. It was this is fun, I'll do it while I can, and then I'm sure I'm going to have to figure something else out. And every time I would try to find my exit, a new opportunity would pop up. I'm cool, ride this one out a little bit longer. This isn't going to last. And
yeah.
Then, there was always kind of something else that just popped up at the right time. So for me, it was also pretty much college. I didn't do a lot of outdoor stuff before that. I thought I was getting a psych degree, and because I thought that'd be practical. Mm-hmm. And but my college had this program that had whitewater kayaking and mountaineering and all this other stuff. And so I was well, for my electives, I'll take those. And essentially, like 2 years in, one of the like professors was kind of like, "Hey, you've kind of like taken all the courses."
Wow.
And I was like, "Yeah, I really like them." And he was like, "And what's your degree again?" And I was like, "I think it's psych probably." And he was like, "You know that you're pretty much like halfway done with an outdoor ed degree." And I think for me, it really like combined what I thought I liked about psych was like working with people and psychology a little bit and how people work. And my mom is a school teacher, and so it's kind of like the teaching world was familiar to me too. And my dad was in the mental health field, so I was like, okay, like psych and teaching, and I get to be outside. Like, this sounds great.
Right.
And so it kind of kept growing from there.
Cool. So, like, when I think about the ties between like outdoor recreation and the environment, right? And I think about how like Teddy Roosevelt was really big into hunting, and he kind of started this conservation push because he wanted to protect like his hunting grounds and the animals that live in them, right? Mm-hmm. Which, like, as a vegan, I'm not down with. I'm very conflicted, and I'm like, man, but it was good, you know? And there are criticisms that, like, people who are really knowledgeable, like, I'm sure Bill is like, yeah, right. I'm sure there's something that else that he was not great about. But what do you guys see, you know, as you're taking people who may or may not have outdoor experience out into the outdoors? Like, do you kind of see that perspective of that appreciation of the environment and that desire to protect it after they get these experiences? It's very much across the board. Or like, is there anybody who doesn't respect the environment after going on these trips? Like,
that's the thing, right? It's about building a relationship. And so, like, I think getting exposure to these outdoor spaces, you develop this relationship with this area, and that often comes with like a desire to, like, your interest is piqued. Like, why is this place protected, and are there threats to it? And because that's a place I feel near and dear to me now, and I wouldn't want that to change, or you know. So absolutely, I think that is a huge part of it, and that's also why, you know, there's almost one of the downsides of taking students so far from campus a lot. Is that it's not a downside that they develop strong connections to these places, but they aren't near where they get to live, you know, day to day, and so they feel like these places that are kind of out there, and these places that they can't access when they want to, and it's harder to maintain that relationship. So there's kind of that push and pull of like developing connections to places that are close at hand here, that you can have more of a relationship and be involved in organizations that, you know, maybe that are going to help protect the area, and, you know, caring about these places that are far away too. And I think there's value in that too, because like for every conservation sort of like action or need to protect, it needs people that are invested in these areas that probably don't live just next to them, because these places are often away from population centers or something like that. So I think it is that kind of like the both and. And so I think we strive for providing an outlet for folks to build the connection to both far away and close. You know, sometimes maybe we fall short, but that's what we strive for.
Yeah, no, I totally, I dig what you're saying, especially because like I can relate to that, right? I was like, oh man, I want to go on like a through hike. I wish I could hike the Appalachian Trail or something. And then I was talking to this guy about it and just kind of like whining about how like I have to work a big kid job and it's never going to let me do that. And he was like, well, why don't you appreciate what you have in Michigan? Have you hiked all the trails in Michigan? And not to say that I'm not going to like travel and look for, you know, different types of environments to explore and experience. But like after that experience, I was like, yeah, I need to dig into what I have right here. Like the dunes that we have are incredible areas of nature. The river, yes, the Kalamazoo River.
Don't forget.
Yeah. Our wetlands are awesome for exploring, and you get into bird watching and you start to realize there's a lot of birds out there. And even like climbing at the local crag in Grand Ledge, which is like so small compared to what you might see elsewhere, but like it's super nice that we have it, you know, and that we can go and play and have fun out there, you know. So yeah, I can appreciate what you're saying. It's like, yeah, we need to fall in love with nature and then start to see it all around us, you know, not just in those far off places.
Yeah, kind of find that feeling or find that sense of adventure, or whatever it is that you're looking for. Trying to seek that out in this new place, because I think you can have you can just sit around and like have this thing on your list that you're like, you know, I can't ever get to that, versus like doing little actions each day that kind of help. So that's what we're kind of trying to do with K students too, and like we were just talking before about the K bubble and feeling like trying to get them off campus a little bit too. It's surprisingly, that bubble is very durable too, of like trying to get them out and just a few blocks down the road. You know, so. Yeah. And a lot of it strives with this busyness culture, which we can all relate to too, right? Like we want to stay busy, we want to be involved in a lot of things,
right?
And making sure we're making time for the other thing too is hard sometimes. So.
Yeah.
Are they learning about like natural resource policy, land management, like the history of that sort of movement and everything in this country? Is that part of what they're learning through your program?
We will do some stuff, and there's always like I think that for each area, that's always hard to like get it all in. So they learn a lot. They have opportunities to learn some of it through just their coursework, and so a lot of times we'll have students that will be able to contribute a ton towards a conversation, or like they'll be able to say like, I don't know about this place that we're at right now, but I can overlay like what I learned about in a different context, and it's applicable. All of our leaders get us Leave No Trace like trainer certification, and as part of that, it's kind of like a orienting to like this public lands and what are the different agencies and how do they interact and not interact, and that's kind of a fascinating, interesting, you know, overlay. And then even how Leave No Trace as itself kind of came about, and how it was this kind of like these various agencies who had versions of it, and they decided they wanted to try to, you know, make something that was like kind of more that could go between the agencies and not just be like just from the state parks or just from the national parks. So, so they'll learn kind of a little bit of that, and then we try to dig into for the areas that we visit. You know, Adirondacks for sure. Since it's such a one we return to, like kind of how that, because that's a fascinating patchwork of private and public land and easement lands, and just how that all fits together and how everything fits in this state park boundary that's like 6 million acres, but really within that you're crossing public land, private land, and private land that you can go on certain times of year but not others time. You know, it's like it is a cool in that it's a park with a living. It's not just like there's people living inside of it, so it's not just this kind of like untrammeled space. Yeah.
Well, and it's an important area too, just in terms of like the history of like any sort of conservation or preservation we have in this country with the Hudson River School of Art. Like, so I would love to go to that museum. It's like on my list to go see like all Thomas Cole and everything blown up. Anyways, I digress. Do you want to talk about what they're doing in the community?
Yeah, definitely. Let's community programs, or was there? Do you have something else in mind?
No, we can talk about that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, there's the students, and then there's the newer outdoor programs for the entire community, which like I'm just gonna be like express my gratitude to you guys again, because like I got to take one of those courses as a ripe old 34-year-old. So like, you know, you guys have these classes that are made for people who aren't just like young and interested in going into outdoor education. So tell us about those.
Yeah, so this is the first year of Outdoor Leadership Training Center. It's been a work in progress, and we're trying to get it more settled now that it's like hit the year mark, or almost. I think it's hit the year mark. Yeah. So this past year we offered, we've been running like wellness medicine courses, so that's like our backbone. We offer those more regularly. So wellness first aid, wellness first responder, advanced wellness first aid. So those are offered to the public. We offer it to our students every year, and so Jory came to me with the idea of Outdoor Leadership Training Center, saying like we can offer these courses to the public, so people have that experience and that opportunity. If people like just hang out in the outdoors, if they go on camping trips, just having that extra knowledge of what to do if something goes wrong is important. So being able to offer that to the community is awesome. And we started a backpacking series. So we just different topics like map and compass, navigation, things like that, water purification, like stove, camp cooking and stove stuff. Camp setup, like planning for a trip, leave no trace, layering, all that, like everything you would need to know to go on a backpacking trip. We have like those workshops that we had run, and so people feel more comfortable like planning their own and doing that. We had the climbing workshop, which was my favorite.
It was super fun.
So fun.
Yeah.
And we have 2 more we're hoping to do. We have one, hopefully, to Devil's Lake.
I saw you were in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
I was like, why didn't Hannah email me when this dropped?
It dropped like today, so
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that will be fun, and then another one to Grand Ledge in the spring. But yeah, it's fun to be able to offer these courses to the community because there's not really anything like that in this area. So, and gives people the chance, if they just want to try something new, to kind of put their, what is the saying? Put their foot in the door?
Dip their
toe in the water.
Dip their toe in the door.
Or their dip their foot in the door. That's
Yeah. Dip their foot in the door. Perfect. But we give them the chance to do that.
Right through it,
Yep. Yeah. I'll pass it on to you.
Yeah, I mean, I really think that it kind of gets us a couple things we were talking about of like giving people the tools to feel comfortable going to do that thing that they really want to do. Whether that's like the big thing on your list that's like, I don't know how I'm ever going to get there, but that's a goal of mine. Like hoping we can provide some opportunities to like get some comfort, like feel like you gain some tools, some experience that, you know, like, okay, if this were to happen, I know what to do. Through both wilderness medicine, through climbing, through backpacking, kind of the 101 type series that we've been doing. And I think like one of the things that gets us amped up is actually like seeing people go after their own goals. And so like instead of, we've both been in the guiding world too, where it's like really just like you pay us to take you where you want to do, or like what you want to, or where you want to go. And there's a place for that. And that can also be a great thing for opening up new experiences for folks. But also it's so cool to see somebody like putting together that thing that's been on that list, or like they're like, oh, I didn't think I could ever do this. And now I've got some more knowledge or skills or experience or confidence even to just like go and chase after these things on my own too. So I don't know, we get really excited about seeing people chase after their goals.
Yeah. Like after, I feel like every day of the climbing workshop, like everyone was so excited about it. And then when we got to Grand Ledge and we're like climbing our first real rock, I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. Like it's so fun to see like that joy that, like, cause like I don't know why I'm getting so fanboy.
You're excited.
But
You dipped that toe in the door.
I did. It's coming out now. But my freshman year, I went on outdoor program, Joshua Tree climbing trip, and that's what got me into climbing. And so then it's like a full circle when I get to now teach it to others, and then I see their joy that was similar to what I had, and so it's fun to like see that spark and see how it grows.
Do you get a lot of people who it's like their first time ever trying something, like their first time even trying rock climbing or backpacking, or is it mostly people who have already put their toe in the door a little bit before?
I love this.
So for the rock climbing one, that was more, it was a specific like anchor building, so having some knowledge, like pre-climbing experience, doesn't have to be a lot, and having the willingness to learn and like wanting to go outside and gain those skills. So that was more people with experience, some experience with climbing. The backpacking series, that is more focused to people that are interested in just like they don't know where to start. They want to learn or they want to go on a backpacking trip, but they just don't know where to start. So that was kind of the focus there. There are some people who have done it, but they just want to learn more. But kind of a wide variety, depending on what topic we're teaching. But
I'd say for wilderness medicine too. Like some people are like, wow, I should have got this years ago because I've gotten in so many, weird situations and I wish I know what to do. And other folks are like, my job said I needed this. And so here I am, and then so sometimes that's like unlocks a new kind of like, oh, maybe I can go do more than I thought now that I have these skills. And a lot of it's about preventative care too. So it's also like, oh, I've heard about all these things that can happen, but like now I feel like I've got a little more orientation of like how I can keep these things from happening instead of that it's a big scary world out there.
Do you plan to like add more programs in the future, like different, like possibly river expeditions in the future? I have a one-track mind.
Partnership here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think what we want to do is meet the interest. So we've kind of been casting out some like, is there interest in this? Is there, if people sign up or not, it's like, okay, there is or there isn't. And what we've actually, the most successful things we've had is partnerships. So like, I think building partnerships so that then you have such a better understanding of like what you want, what we can do, and then we put something together, So we've done that with various groups so far, and that's been our kind of most successful path forward. It's like, versus just like throwing something on a website. I mean, Dee's going to find it, but like, everybody's going to find it. So it's way better, if we can kind of like work with the group and say, what do you need and what can we help with, and where are their shared interests, or where can we dovetail? So.
Yeah, because the boundary waters are pretty big. You could spend a while up and
Yeah.
up there.
I want to go there so bad.
She's
Same.
done kayak backpacking before.
Oh yeah, I do
so-
like canoe camping, all
That's
that kind of
fun.
stuff, backpacking. So I'm definitely like that. It just changed my life really, like in the mental health benefits. Like really, have you guys seen like either from your students or community members, like anybody? Not, you don't have to give a specific name, but like a transformative experience that you witnessed that you really felt stuck with you.
I feel like I can't think of a like specific time, but I think just like if I look at a group of people at the start of a trip versus the end, it's like a complete change typically. I don't know. I feel like people just like, I don't know, gaining through that experience of being outside and with that community, they like learn to love the nature more and like kind of are able to, I don't know, there's lots of downtime in these camping trips and they can like just have self-reflection time and you also have like self-reflection, but you have friends and community like really close with you, so you can have like deeper conversations and things like that. So I feel like just generally it's a transformative like experience. But
I think that there's no secret that we like climbing. I think you can teach so much specifically through climbing, and I've seen some really cool things come from that. I think the unique mix of like, there's every part of the piece, everybody has a different piece to play in that, and so if you're belaying somebody, it's like, I have someone's life in my hands. I'm actually being trusted in a very visceral way right now that is like is tangible. Like it's not something I'm just like feeling or it's like it's such a direct connection, and the communication part and needing to be clear in communication, but also the vulnerability part and being able. It's not just about like getting to the top. It's like actually in climbing, a lot of it's in style, and we use that loosely, but it's like doing it in good style too. And good style would be like not screaming at each other and like like looking out for one another, and like taking care of the place that you're visiting and not trashing it and disrupting other people. And so I think that whole, when you really bring in those in outdoor education settings and you kind of make people aware of the broader context of it too. I mean, some of the most powerful things I've seen was just like, you go climbing, but you frame it as like, we have a big obstacle in our way. What are some obstacles that you're facing in your life? And are you willing to share any of that with the group? And then it's like, yeah, I've got this thing, it's like looming over me, and da 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 da. And they say this thing and everybody's supportive, and then it's like, cool. we're gonna climb this rock, and we're gonna like jump on this obstacle, and then they come down, and it's like, what did that feel like?
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, it was so scary at first because it was like looming over me, and I didn't know if my team had me. But then like I could see that they were playing well, and I felt the confidence, and all of a sudden there was a spot that was hard, but I felt the confidence to move forward, and then I got to, wherever I got to, and oh cool, well, how does that relate to the obstacle that you're facing in your daily life? Oh man, I guess there is like, I have this team, I need to rely on them. I never shared with them that this is an obstacle for me, but if they knew that was an obstacle, they could help me too. And it's so like making those connections to the not just outdoor.
Yeah.
That's kind of the most the stuff that gets me excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, just like how capable you feel after you've done this really hard thing too. I mean, I imagine, you just feel like you can do a lot of hard things.
You eat a bunch of food and then you reflect on the hard thing you did.
Yeah. And some of that was like, why was I grumpy? Oh, I didn't eat.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
does that apply to your life too? Yeah. I need to make sure I be on a schedule and eat. Yeah. So it's the simple stuff.
Yeah, definitely. On the reverse side of that, have you ever seen people like break up on a camping trip? I feel like that's the experience I can relate to, is like sometimes you get into these really awful fights, but
I want to hear more.
Yeah, tell us more.
What happened?
I don't know, but
Don't change the subject.
I turn it around and say like when I took the climbing the anchor building course, my partner was like, yeah, you take this course and get it out of your system, which didn't happen. I bought all the stuff, but now it's like, okay, I can explain all of the safety things to her. So it's like, I really like the emphasis that your program has on like getting people out there, giving them the tools to do it and not die.
Love that. Love it. Such a goal of ours. Yeah.
First our slogan, really.
Don't die out there. But what's like the oldest person who can attend? You guys have like an age, health capacity, and the youngest person who can attend. How do you guys?
We don't really have like strict guidelines.
No.
If you're interested, then join,
you're
and then obviously if like you're an infant, like you I don't know if that's gonna like
I've
work
seen
out,
it at
but
the climbing gym.
yeah.
I'll put them on the wall.
Yeah.
Bouncer.
But we are hoping to do like some kid programming as well, or partnering with like Girl Scouts. That's the goal, or like things like that with some
Putting
school.
that out there now.
Like Girl Scouts, if you wanna partner with those. But allowing, because I feel like starting at a young age is like awesome, because I was fortunate to like go to a summer camp and I got exposed to these things, and I think that really has created who I am and my passions for the outdoors. So being able to allow like the youth to be involved too, but also adults, because an old dog can learn new tricks.
Yeah.
Is that the saying?
Got it. That's fun, but you got it.
So like if someone has a passion and an interest, like we want to help like get them to their goal. So
I think some of our things have a minimum age, so the wilderness
That's
medicine
true.
courses I think is 16.
Okay.
Because to get the certification, but we can do stuff like workshops that cover a lot of the stuff. You just don't get the actual card and certification or something like that.
Sure.
Some of the
Like
climbing
CPR.
stuff, like working near the edge, it would
Yeah.
be like a competent, probably like late teens or something like that. But yeah, in general though, it's not like other limitations on it. So. Yeah.
Do you guys, like, right now or in the future, maybe have any plans to do outreach or just kind of address maybe either youth or other people in our community who maybe haven't had the privilege to get exposed to outdoors at a young age and maybe don't even think it's an option, right? Like, they've lived in the city their whole life, so they just don't even know what's out there.
Yeah. I mean, that's the hope, I think, and that's gonna happen through partnerships, not through. And it'd be inefficient to create it on our own. I think that.
Yeah.
But I think what we want to do is like use our skill set, use some of our experience of what we have, and if there's any groups, organizations, or whatever that feel limited on what they can accomplish or what they can do, then that's where I feel like we can have a role, and maybe it opens up a new part of the programming or something like that.
Cool. Totally cool. Yeah, I've just got like tons of ideas. I'm like thinking about this is what happens. People come on the show and then all of a sudden they're in the Connecting Communities family. So I'm like, oh yeah, Charlie's Place is a great place to partner with. The River Watershed. We've got an episode about KidNet that will like review your programs and give you feedback. Okay. They're fantastic.
KidNet's great, yeah. And they're plugged into all of the other youth serving organizations in the area in Kalamazoo and Calhoun County, so they're a really great resource.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like if a group came to you and they were like, there's this specific place that we want to go, but we don't feel like we have the skills or tools to do our own weekend camping trip with our particular group, you guys would be down to be like private guides and like take them there and show them.
I think it's like, let's talk, definitely. Like, let's figure it out. Like, what can we offer? What do you need? What are you looking for? And I think even if we can't find it, I would definitely try to direct to other resources or something like that. So same thing. I think we want people to achieve their goals if we can. If we can be part of that, that's awesome. If we're like, ooh, maybe not us, but maybe this other way is maybe more what you're looking for or something like that.
Cool. I'll start penciling in the boundary waters.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That sounds awesome. And just in general too, I mean, I know Hannah offered up, like, you guys kind of have like a library or something. I mean, you guys people can reach out to you even if it's not around a class, if they just like want to talk to somebody about doing outdoor activities and that kind of thing. So
we're suckers. Like, we love talking, usually to our detriment.
And without a microphone.
We'll talk gear, but we do have a gear rental system and stuff like that too.
Okay.
So it's like if you need a tent or a bear can or something like that, and we have a rental system folks can rent from us too. So.
And that's for students or also for community members?
That's for community. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Students get it for free. Community, there's a cost, but it's out there.
So if someone just reached out and they're like, hey, I want to go on a backpacking trip. I'm new to backpacking. What all do I need? Where should I go? What should my itinerary be? Would you respond with all of those answers?
We might say we have a workshop coming up. It's a free workshop on the topics that you're asking. So come on by and then I don't know. We have the resources of the rentals, the gear rentals. We can tell them what they need. We have packing lists and stuff, but
sometimes depending on the area, we might have maps too. So it's like, come on in, we'll give you the map, and also this is where we usually go if it's an area that we're familiar with. Sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Coolness. Yeah. So I'm planning a trip like
All right.
River. I don't know if you've ever been there. No, that's awesome. That's fantastic. How do people get a hold of you if that's what they're looking for?
Our
website.
Website's outdoor.kzoo.edu, so KZOO .edu, and that kind of has we have a tab there that says community courses, but there's also the gear tab for renting, and then if you're not a student, you can see the other things we do, but for the community, that would be the place to go, outdoor.kzoo.edu.
we also have an Instagram.
That's true.
KZoo Outdoor.
Sorry.
Yeah, and then
KZOOLTC.
but I think there's an underscore
Might be an
somewhere.
underscore.
Let me just look right here. I don't want to send you the wrong way.
Right.
KZoo_OLTC.
OLTC, Outdoor Leadership Training Center. That makes sense.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll be posting more about the upcoming workshops and things like that. So.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, thanks so much, guys, for being on the show. It was a blast. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, you too.
Woo.
Nice.
Well, thanks.
Nice.
Thank you.
That's
See,
fun.
it was painless.
Thank you.
It's chill.
Yeah, it's very fun. Only you're going to go viral now for your toe in the door.
Yeah.
Girls, this toe in the door. No, that's so funny.
Let's see. was probably praying for it.
Yeah. I heard he had to step down or something.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. But I guess that.
To be the new viral moment, I get
Yes,
it. Okay,
yeah.
It's like a CEO of the world. Did I miss it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for having
Well,
us
thank
on.
you. This was fun.
Yeah, of course.
Now I'm ready for Survivor, I think.
Like this.
Hey, yeah. I know.